Yes, more over the board games. I played an IHOP on Saturday. So this was a tournament at IHOP, and for those who have never been to IHOP, it's like a better Denny's. I don't know if that comparison helps at all. Actually, it's like a breakfast place but it's open late. They have a private room, so it wasn't like coffee house chess. We had a private room there. So the time control was game 90. Yes, it was a pancake place. Game 90 with a 30-second increment. I won both my games that I played on Saturday, and then next Saturday are the other two games. The first game I played, actually, my ex-student. I taught her when she was like little, and now she's bigger. She was like a 600 when I taught her, and now she's a 1200, so she doubled her rating. And it was a tough game. I'm not gonna lie, but it was good. It was a good learning experience. It was a good. Well, you'll just see. Okay. So I didn't teach her this. I just want to make that clear. I did not teach her this. I did not tell her to play this. Someone else did that. I think I know who. So she's a Scandinavian player, which was disappointing to see. Yeah, I know, it's very sad. But okay. I'm just playing moves, I don't know theory. I'm playing moves that you play in this. Okay. And then she plays this move. All the moves are fine so far. I thought this move was weird looking. I think it's weird that she hasn't played c6 or e6 yet. So I would like to take advantage of that in some way. So I play bishop d2. Now she plays c6, which makes sense. She wants to have an escape square for the queen, or this was a threat. So I just decided to play queen e2 because I just want to see what she's doing. I wanna just ask her a question with this move, and I have the option to castle both ways. All of my pieces are developed, and she has this that she still needs to develop somehow, and her queen is sort of, it's a Scandinavian queen. So, but okay, she plays queen c7, and it's just one of those things where you feel like you're plus 10 out of the opening, but something like a few things happen and it's equal, and then you get confused. That's what happens. So okay, so I play knight e5, forcing e6, and I should just castle here and put my rooks in the center, and this is pretty good for me. I'm better here. But instead, I played the move g4. Notice the double question mark. So. Okay, first of all, so this move loses to this. This is checkmate. Okay, so we established that. This move is like, I think, close to the loss. Like, I don't think she would last long here. I mean, it's not technically just losing, but it's an inexperienced player would probably lose very quickly there. And, so this move is forced, right? And I saw that, but in my weird, messed up head, I looked at this position and I was like, oh, if this happens, I'll be up a piece, so she can't do that. And I'm not sure how I came to that conclusion. I'm down a pawn. I don't know. So now I have to win this game, but it's fine. I'm actually -1 here. It seems like a lot. Like, that's a bigger advantage than I would have expected her to have. But I mean, I do have to come up with some plan here, or I'm just gonna be worse. I didn't play Daniel yet. Daniel said that if we're gonna be paired, he's gonna take a 0-point buy instead. Because the 2 games, he won his 2 games, but it only got him 1 point each, so that puts him to 21.99. But I have to come up with something here, because I'm down a pawn. And I can only rely on her being a 1200 for so long. So I castle queenside, and if she tries to, for some reason, castle kingside, I mean, that's gonna be... We don't even really need to look at that. She will die if she does that. So she castles queenside. I mean, I guess the computer wants to play bishop e7, but I just play rook g1 and then castles queenside. I think the point of bishop e7 is to not allow me to triple the pawns or something. I don't know. My opponent was... I'm really bad at ages, but she's like 12, I think, and when I taught her, that was like 4 years ago, so I don't know. But okay, castle's queenside, and now the only way, now it's equal. I've equalized already. I was -1. And I just like to triple the pawns, and you know, I'll be down a pawn, but it'll almost be like I'm up a pawn. Yeah, same age as me. So if I can get that to happen, I'll be happy, and I figure it out from there. So she bishop e7 hangs a pawn. So she played bishop d6. There's actually a pretty interesting idea behind bishop e7 though. So you just sack a pawn for activity. You give the pawn back, you know, and you're gonna go here, and you got rid of your doubled pawn, and now you're getting you're developing with tempo. Wants to go here. But that's a pretty advanced idea to give a pawn away for some activity. Great, now I'm -1 against a 6-year-old. Exactly, that's how I felt. Hi Josh. So yeah, I mean, kind of an advanced idea. So she just plays bishop d6. Now I'm like slightly better. I thought this move was interesting though, because I think she's trying to trade off the dark squared bishops, which I thought was a good idea. I just simply play king b1, and I'm kind of baiting her. I would like her to take on h2 actually, and I thought she might. And I play like either queen c5 or queen d3, and I'll probably be picking up this pawn, and I'll have, you know, open files to attack her stuff. So she didn't do that though. She played rook d to e8, which is strange. Obviously her idea is to get out of the pin, which makes sense, okay, but I don't know. You want your other rook here, I thought. So now obviously it is time to take, because I will not have an opportunity to take next move, because she will move her knight. So I'm doing okay now. I'm down a pawn, but oh, there's a funny line at least once into this recap. Well, okay. So I'm down a pawn, but it's almost like I'm up a pawn, if that makes sense. Because this is just one pawn. These are just targets for me to attack. So I made a little bit of a mistake here. I should just play queen d3. This pawn is hard to defend. Queen d3, queen d7, then I play d5. And, well, that only makes sense if you understand why my move is bad, actually. Okay, so I played d5 right away, which looks good, right? Because, okay, you take with the queen, and I am attacking two things at once, and I am threatening this. And I could even, I don't know, bring a rook in somehow. But this move kind of shuts everything down for me, which was very annoying, and I underestimated that move. If I play queen d3 first, this move now here, if take, then I take with the knight, or no, I take with the queen. I still take with the queen, but now the bishop can't move because you lose a queen. So that is the point of that. And if here, I think I have this move. So this is completely losing for black. So you just bait the queen to come to d7, which is not an idea that I saw. And then you play d5. I didn't see that. That's a very cool little in-between move. But I didn't see that because I'm not very good. I played d5 and then here. And now I'm like, well, what's happening? I have to be careful not to lose. But I play knight b5, I continue with my little plan. Queen b6 is forced because it's the only way to defend this, really. Unless you want to do that. That looks ridiculous. Oh, it just loses to that or something like that. But now I thought I had an idea. I played queen c4 to play f4. But I can actually just play f4 right away. And the point is not that this is a thing. Oh, I guess it is. This is good too. But I also have this. I don't know. I stopped looking at this when I oops. What the hell is going on? Okay, I stopped looking at this because of this, but I just have this move, so I don't really understand why I did that. Being lazy, I guess. So I suck. So I didn't consider f4 for long enough right away, so I played this move. And I made her position better by doing this, because now her rook is active too. And I can't play queen a4 because of a6, and if takes, then she gets tempo on my queen, and I lose this pawn. Or, okay, queen b4 is what I play to avoid this. And she just retreats, which is probably pretty bad, and I'm okay if she does that. But she needs to play, which I only considered for a second, and I didn't think much of it, was a5, queen a4, and rook c5. I didn't see the follow-up being rook c5. And this is This is really bad, because I have to play knight d4 to avoid this mate and losing my knight. And then she just takes my pawn, and I'm just gonna get attacked. And I should lose this. I probably wouldn't, but okay. It was in my head. I'm imagining things again. Okay. Once again, I am just allowing so many chances. She lets me back into the game. I'm like, you know, it's equal again. And so I have to defend the threat of a6, losing a knight. So I play a3, defending my queen, so the knight is free. She still plays a6. I take on c7. Taking here right away is bad because it gives me a pawn. So she didn't do that. She just took here. And now I made a bit of an oopsie again. So I played rook d2, which is, it's okay. It's not terrible. And this is what I'd like to do. But she plays this move. And the reason I played what I played was because I saw if take here, and I have this move, you know, and she can't overtake this file very easily. But as soon as I let go of my rook, I realized that queen takes c2 is a move. And I just started shitting my pants. I was like, oh my god, I hope she doesn't see this. And then I was like, okay, let's calm down. Let's really evaluate this position. Let's really try and be objective here. Am I losing? What does chat think? What do we think the eval is? What side would you take in this position? She didn't play this, but I told her about it as soon as the game was over. I was like, did you consider taking on c2? She said, no. And I said, well, if you had done your tactics homework, then you would have. She never did her homework I gave her. I didn't actually say that, but that's what I thought. I was having trouble evaluating this position. Because, okay, black's pawn structure is bad, but black's rooks are coordinated and active in exactly where they want to be. I'd probably take black here. The eval is like minus 0.4, so black is slightly better. But I have no idea how I would make a plan here, is the problem. Because I have to babysit, sort of. Like, I don't know, I just have to give up this pawn, so I mean, we can go down a line here. Queen e7 is a good move, I guess. What happens if here? We get a perpetual, I guess. Looks good. Oh, I have this one now. Okay, so no perpetual. Computer likes this move. Okay, and I just take pawns. I guess I just take pawns and just try not to get checkmated. It looks terrible, and I was really really upset that that was the thing I allowed, but she didn't do that. She just traded. I was like, okay, all right, back in the game again. The graph has to be ridiculous looking. And then she shows a little bit of weakness here by offering a queen trade. She's showing that she just wants the game to be over and she wants a draw. And she thinks that a lot of these weaker players assume that trading queens makes the position less complicated, but that is not true. So, I mean, I could trade queens here, but I like my move better. I played queen b3, and I am anticipating this move. The difference here is if I had traded right away, then she gets to defend this pawn and I don't get to attack it, if that makes sense. And I can't attack either of these pawns because or I guess I can, but if I do, she's gonna get this one. But when I play this move and she offers queen trade, I play rook d7, and I'm pretending that I am interested in the f7 pawn, when I am not. I am interested in the f5 pawn. Hello, DJ Chess Toes. She's on f4, but I threatened checkmate. So now when she trades, her rook can't come to the c4 square. And I thought rook e8 was probably more accurate than what she did. She played rook c7, which is exactly what I wanted, because now my rook comes to d5 and she can't defend her f-pawn. She can't counterattack it because I have this square now. So that was my whole little tiny plan to make a tiny bit of progress, even though it's still extremely equal here. So now she plays rook e7, and she just kind of wasted a tempo. If she had played rook e8 first, then she would have up a tempo here. So I didn't know if I should play h4 or play rook h5. I want to know what chat thinks. Like, what move would you play, rook h5 or h4, and why? And then I'll let you know my little thought process. I made the wrong move. I'm +1 now, but the move I made equalizes again. Sawyer versus Walt. Okay, because he's a 6-year-old. I get it. I'd take on f6. I mean, that is something to consider. That is partially why I have a lot of moves, candidate moves here, but the main moves I was debating between were these two. Rook f6, rook h2, rook f7, and she also has a pass pawn. That was my main thing. I didn't want to let her have a pass pawn too. I wanted to be the only one with a pass pawn. I feel like it's better if she doesn't have any plan, because then she'll make a mistake if she doesn't know what to do. So I see a lot of h4s. Does anyone think rook h5? Someone does. Okay, two people think rook h5 to get a pass pawn. Okay. So I played rook h5, which is wrong. The reason I didn't play h4 was because I just thought the king would come in here and kick my rook out, and then I would lose the f-pawn. But that's actually hard to do for black. So, like, if I go here, for example, then the king comes in. So she can't tie my rook to both pawns, which is something I thought was possible, but it's not, because then my king gets out. So if she does something like king c7, then I'm just gonna kind of tie up her pawns and then take on f6. And now I'm getting this pawn over here too, threatening this and trying to create another majority, like maybe get another pass pawn on this side too and make it harder for her. So this is like a good lesson for me in the endgame, because I didn't get it. I didn't know what my plan was supposed to be. So that's what I should do. I played rook h5, and I wanted to pass pawn, simply. It's equal here, and I'm in no hurry to take on f7, because if her king ever comes this way, I get to do it with check. So there's no real reason to take this, because it's not easy. She can't really defend it. So instead, I bring my king out, try and get the king to help. And I think she really overestimated the check. Like, this is fine. I don't know if it's necessary to put the king here first, but she was afraid of the check. I'm mostly bluffing. It's still just completely equal. Okay, king d3, and what I need to happen is well, okay, I'll show you. Okay, so she gets excited and she starts checking me. Like, she gets a few checks, but then I go to d5, and okay, so she's picking up a pawn, but now I'm gonna start pushing my pass pawn. She takes, and now, once again, what would chat do here? I think this is an important point. I like what I did. There are a few moves that are okay, but as long as you understand the reasoning. So, white to play here. There is a way to lose, I think. I think it's losing. It's not good. Instinct is king c4. Okay, this is one candidate move. What else? King d6. Okay. Any other thoughts on this position? How do we get our pawn going? So I don't like king c4 very much because it's very passive. I mean, I'm defending a pawn, but like this is offering a draw in my opinion. So rook takes f7. Someone is saying, I assume you mean b3. King e6. Well, okay, so I assume you're saying king e6 because you realize you can't play h5 because of rook b5. And this is the way to be almost worse. It's still probably equal here, but I definitely can't win. So that's the problem with rook f7. So I did play b4 because of that. I didn't want to allow a check. I wanted to take on f7 and push my pawn. But when she attacks my a pawn, I can take, and this square is covered. Plus, I've sort of restricted her pawns slightly. So I take this pawn. She plays here. The threat is to win a pawn, so I defend the threat by being able to block with my rook. And what I'd like to happen, ideally, to make a miracle win happen, is get my king to, like, when she puts her rook behind the pawn, get my king here, push, and do this, but probably when it's farther down the board. So if I can get that to happen, that would be great. This move is what I think lost the game for her. Again, the evaluation changes by like 0.1. I'm plus 0.1 here. So she shouldn't lose, but I do think it was what lost for her because it opened up some tricks. Because now her king is pinned to the back rank here. And this helps me a lot because now there's going to be checks happening with the promotion. So I get to push my pawn, and the only move that makes any sense would be rook h3. You have to get behind the pawn, you just have to. Because the threat is just to play h6, h7, check, and promote. So it's still equal if she just plays rook h3, but she finally started playing like a little kid and played a5. And now I'm winning. Now finally I'm winning. I get to push my pawn. I'm so relieved. And I just get to promote with check. But I like how I like how ruthless I was in finishing this game. The reason I'm so proud of this game wasn't because I beat a 1200 who was my student at one point. And I was like, I had no business winning the game. It was because I had really good control over my anxiety, and I didn't get like all those thoughts like, oh man, I'm gonna lose this game. I'm gonna lose so many rating points if I lose. Everyone's gonna make fun of me. This is so bad. I'm playing like such an asshole. I didn't do any of that. I just played chess. And I didn't stop playing chess at any point in the game. Even when I'm winning, I'm still trying to play like extremely just accurately. So that's why I'm showing this even though it doesn't matter. So I just play rook a8, just very sad. She has to either go back or just push her pawn. And I pick it up. And I pick up her pawn. And now I like this rook d4 move, which is very just cold. Instead of doing any like thoughtless, just shrinking box technique, I just found like the fastest mate. So that was, on paper an uneventful game, like one I should win easily, but I was proud of myself for not panicking, and just playing and not making it, not even fun anymore. So I enjoyed that game. I'm glad I didn't panic, and I don't know, I think it was good.